Thanks, Presiding Officer. I think this debate is key to how we see ourselves as a society. It's a cliche to say that we judge a society by how it treats its most vulnerable people, but just because it's a cliche doesn't mean there is no truth in it. The current UK government most certainly isn't caring compassionately for our disabled neighbours, our friends, our relatives, low-income families, the elderly, the vulnerable or the needy. 100,000 Scottish disabled people have lost out as a result of ideologically driven cuts to disability benefits. Hundreds of thousands of low-income families across the UK, many of them working families but poor as a result of low pay and wage restraint, have been affected by cuts to housing and tax credits. There is a big list of social security cuts that have been introduced by Cameron and Osborne since 2010. Child trust funds abolished. In England, EMA abolished. Working and child tax credits reduced. Health and pregnancy grant gone. Housing benefits cuts. Child benefit frozen and ended for some claimants. Council tax benefits cuts. DLA replaced by PIP, saving £1 billion a year. And of course, the grotesque bedroom tax. The list goes on and on and on. Over 40 benefits cut. All benefits for lone parents, the disabled and families, affecting the poor, poorest, the most needy people in our communities most. And what I find offensive about all of that is the relish and glee with which it has been done. Time after time, as Osborne has announced his latest budgetary assault on the welfare state, we've witnessed Tory MPs cheering and braying as they condemn another family to the food bank, another young person to a future devoid of hope and opportunity, or another disabled person is stripped of the mobility card that is their link to the outside world. And I find it truly sickening to see a Prime Minister and a Chancellor in a cabinet of millionaires with an estimated combined wealth of £100 million cutting their own taxes and those of their friends in the corporate world, whilst at the same time removing, same time as removing the safety net from those in most need of our help. Presiding Officer, this Parliament was not established to be a conveyor belt for bad policy, no matter where and from whom it emanates. In the last Parliament, a Labour member's bill on the bedroom tax forced the government to act. That shows what we can do when there is the political will to act. So with the new powers coming over a number of areas of social security, we have the opportunity to do things very different. Having sat in the Welfare Reform Committee in the last session, I think there is a large majority in this Parliament that supports the creation of a more humane, fairer, supportive social security system that's designed to help people into employment and to support those who, for whatever reason, are unable to work, to support them in their lives, and to get away from a system based on suspicion, a system based on the language that Joanne Lamont mentioned of strivers and skivers, based on a set of political beliefs that sees the state in some particular tyrannical enemy of freedom. That's how the Tories see this. According to that philosophy, the welfare state is a barrier to the operation of the free market. It intervenes in the economy and the labour market, attempts to universalise life chances, and heaven forbid it redistributes wealth. Presiding Officer, it's that ethos that has underpinned the Tory attack on the social security system, and the Tory motion and the Tory speakers today have not acknowledged the untold misery that they have inflicted upon people. 2,500 people have died after being declared fit for work. Not a word of remorse from Mr Tompkins, or how would we ever expect a word of remorse from Mr Johnson? Presiding Officer, let us build a different system, one that supports the army of carers who look after their family and friends. And let's not celebrate the fact that we'll increase carers allowance to JSA. That will hardly have people living a life of luxury. That should be the minimum we're providing. We should be looked to move on much further as the system develops. Let's see a system that allows disabled people to live fulfilling, independent lives, helped, not hindered by the system, and a system that provides a safety net so that any of us who require it can be helped by it. We have the chance to do that, and it will be a test for all of us who claim to be progressives, whether we want to take that chance or not.
Thank you very much, Mr Findlay.